Now, it's been a while since I watched Britain's top soaps, but for the purposes of this show I decided to return, like a long-lost illegitimate son, to see what's changed since I was last around. First port of call, EastEnders, the BBC's everyday tale of unrealistic, ugly folk. Now, at first glance, it seems not much has changed, although it's a bit more French than I remember.
Try some wine.
Don't mind.
Would you prefer a lager?
No, Martin, that's une lager. Still, at least the buildings are the same. Take the car lot. In real life, that would have been bulldozed to make way for a Nando's Chicken Land years ago. Now it's Quadrophenia Motors. All the businesses in Albert Square function as hand-me-downs. People just inherit them, like old sweaters. Speaking of old sweaters...
Oh,
yeah, it's good to have some familiar faces to cling to. Phil Mitchell's still grunting his way around the square with a head like a scalded bollock.
I've got to get me laughs from somewhere, haven't I?
Ian Beale's just as popular as ever.
I'm telling you to shove it. Like I'll smack you up and dash you in the microwave.
And Jim Branning still looks like a 95-year-old Tom York. Anyway, since I was last here, a bunch of futuristic newcomers have arrived, like this grumpy bugger, Bradley, whose hair seems to be competing with his cheeks to see which can look the reddest. Thankfully, the show seems to have dropped its tedious obsession with gangsters, which was what made me stop watching in the first place, although some things remain the same. Yes, Walford's still a world of unremitting squalor in which everyone communicates by shouting.
Don't you care that he's bunking?
All right, mate.
What? Well, while you're soaking up the sun, I'm left here trying to pay for everything at home.
At least it's better than being a dried-up, sour-faced, rancorous old boot!
Shut up! Stop shouting at her!
Since it started, EastEnders has prided itself on its realism, but what realism exactly? I mean, sometimes it reflects real-world events like the World Cup.
Well, at least we haven't got to play Germany in the next round.
Yet Walford must have been the only part of London that didn't take part in the recent July the 7th commemoration. Although, weirdly, they did find time to mention Bastille Day.
Yeah.
Bastille Day? Au revoir.
And in tackling social issues, it largely ignores current events that affect the real East End in favour of more pressing concerns like the widespread problem of hungover nurses.
I can't seem to find a vein. Maybe the tourniquet is tiny.
Student nurse Fowler, I'll take over.
Oh, no one does the bewildered look quite like our Sonia.
Have you been drinking?
No.
I can smell alcohol on you.
What?
All right, hard ass, it's only a bit of liquid fun.
Sonia.
Why am I being singled out here?
Because this isn't just an isolated incident. These last few months,
Have you been drinking?
What?
I can smell it on your breath. Have you been drinking again?
No.
Oh, hark at the human breathometer.
Quite frankly, you're a liability. So I've got no choice but to send you home.
If you've been affected by any of the issues in that clip, call the National Drunk Nurse Helpline on 0828...
Yes, when it comes down to it, EastEnders is so unlike the actual East End, it might as well be set in Narnia. The real East End has got Hawksmoor churches and fashionable nightclubs and a thriving Bangladeshi community. Walford's just got Keith Miller swabbing windows with a rag on a stick.
Dedicate my whole life to it, haven't I?
Actually, that rag on a stick might be one of these new characters, I'm not sure. Anyway, despite all that, EastEnders has definitely improved since I last tuned in. Just sitting through a few episodes has got me hooked all over again by osmosis, even if, like my glaring alcohol addiction, it ultimately won't bring me happiness. Or anyone else, come to that.
I don't like you.
Rebecca.
You make everyone sad. Leave us alone.
Isn't life fantastic? You've got the looks, the clothes, the money. You are living the dream, my friend. Oh. Except you're not, are you? The dream's just that, a dream. Real life doesn't work like that. Real life's a knobbly old mess full of graft and tedium and unexpected kicks to the nuts, spiritually speaking. So how come half the time your TV's smothered with glittering f***wits like that? No. You
know what I'm talking about. Modern aspirational TV. You're supposed to want to be like the youths from the shiny happy OC, and it works. You do. Yes, you do. Stop lying. You do.
Aspirational. Aspirational. It's a term that crops up time and time again in commissioning briefs. In the minds of TV execs, viewers don't simply want to watch things. Oh, no. They want to aspire to be them. The thinking goes that if you watch the glittering world, you'll feel like you're part of it, even though you aren't, of course. You're just a pleb gawping at a box. Oh, just a pork. I want to be like the pretty people on the television, Dotty.
In a sense, 'twas ever thus. Adverts have always depicted an aspirational lifestyle, be it a vision of suburban, coffee-slurping smugitude, or a world of unreal fantasy. It's their job to dazzle you with images that make you feel inadequate, then offer a magic solution.
They're selling you a membership card. Buy this car, or use this shampoo, or drink this booze. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be part of the glamour gang too for about 30 seconds until they try and flog you something else. The monsters!
But it wasn't long before the aspirational virus leaked out of the adverts and infected the programmes themselves. I first became aware of it back in the 80s, when shows like Dallas did their level best to make you feel suicidally inadequate for not being a billionaire tycoon.
I was a mere stripling at the time, but even then I was left with a sense that I could never compete, that no matter how hard I tried in life, I'd never match up to the chandelier-shagging anointed ones.
JR, you are the daddy.
In those days, the focus was money. Today, it's every aspect of your life.
Everywhere you look, it's, hey, look how thin the housewives are, you should lose a few pounds. They enjoy a load of dick and shoes, why don't you? And, wouldn't it be nice to get on like the cast of Friends? But this is fantasy. Reality just doesn't compare.
Normal life damp and grey by comparison. No wonder everybody's miserable. And I mean literally everybody. Look.
Look at him, he's miserable. So's she and him. Now that is misery.
Trouble is, while aspirational adverts at least serve a purpose, i.e. selling you stuff, aspirational programming doesn't. It just feeds the void, the sense of lack, the gulf between them and you. It stokes it up and up and up like a low self-esteem engine until finally, where can you turn for a solution? Where do you think?
The solution being, change yourself. Yeah, toss your wardrobe out. Wear the same uniform as the rest of us. Or, look how smouldering and happy Nigella is. Maybe cookery will save you. Or, saw your face off and get it remade properly. Yeah, maybe that'll help. Maybe then you'll fit in.
Surely it's a rum state of affairs when TV actively encourages you to hack yourself apart in the name of self-worth. I mean, hacking up a stranger, okay, that I can understand. But this is just sick! Seems to me our aspirational parameters are all out of whack. Okay, for the sake of argument, let's say you get the money, you get the looks, you get the fashion. Congratulations, you've become this little tit.
Caesar's Palace. Caesar's Palace. Game's on.
And surprise, surprise, all the other aspirants hate you.
You got, it's the highest ever.
Oh,
yeah, honestly, 91.6%.
You're joking. Anyway, balls to aspiration, it's a tosser's mirage. Far better to just sit here and sneer at the lot of it, isn't it, eh? That's what we like to do, isn't it, eh? Have a good sneer, eh? Hey, that cheers us up, doesn't it, eh? Bit of camaraderie like that, yeah? I knew I'd put a smile on your face. We're all right, aren't we, mate, yeah?
On next week's show, housemates versus Hitler, who's worst? And we offer some would-be celebrities their very own 40 seconds of fame.
I'm very sorry. It's not going to be you.